This conference will now be recorded.
Wait for that to be recorded. And then we have to re-nominate our chair, vice chair, and clerk. Are there any motions?
I nominate Matt Gilman to be the chair.
Any seconds? All right, he made and seconded. We can just vote like this, right?
Yep.
I don't remember doing this last time.
Yeah.
All right, those in favor of making me the chair, vote by saying aye.
Aye.
Nays? Ayes have it.
Nice job.
Thanks. And a vice chair.
Oh, I make a nomination, or what it's called, nomination of Eric.
I'll
for vice
second
chair.
that. Any discussion? No? Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The ayes have it. You are now the vice chair, or still the vice chair, I should
Still.
say.
Oh.
Yeah, there we go. And then any nominations for clerk? Making a motion for
Sure. I make a motion for Brian Pease for clerk of the zoning board.
I'll second that. Any discussion? None? Those in favor of Brian being the clerk? Vote by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? The ayes have it. Brian, you continue to be our clerk.
Okay.
Thank you.
Nice.
All right.
Congratulations.
Riveting. We will start with case 23-02. I apologize if I say this wrong. Colbea Enterprises?
Cobia.
Thank you.
I don't know if I need to put it up on the screen for you or not, but
I don't.
okay. Well, good evening, everyone. My name is Chris Rice with TF Moran. I'm here on behalf of the owner and applicant, Colbia Enterprises, LLC. They're the owners of 63 Laconia Road, which is the existing Shell station with the subway adjacent to the Tilton Diner. I was before this board back in January for some relief for signage and some signs and bollards within the setback area. Since that time, as you know, the special permit has been brought to everyone's attention in terms of excavating material off site. We don't anticipate there to be a lot of excavation. We're really raising portions of the site to promote positive drainage pitch, and we're putting in some underground drainage facilities. We intend to reuse the loam on site. We're actually increasing open space from what exists now. I just know that there will be some material hauled off. We are putting in some underground detention systems and things like that. So inevitably, some material will be hauled off site. It'll be limited to the extent possible. But so with that, we're just here to request a special permit per Article 3.2.2. And I know you have a full agenda, so I'll keep it at that. And if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Questions? No?
I don't have any questions.
No
No.
specific criteria that goes with this. It's just the
Right.
same one as the last
They
one.
may have to remove some material off the front.
Yeah.
property.
Any questions for him?
The only question I guess, is whether or not any of the material would be, that might be removed would come from around the area where the current tanks are located.
Are you concerned about hazardous materials?
I am.
They have an environmental engineer that's monitoring all that. Any hazardous materials would be disposed of in accordance with any rules and regulations for the state of New Hampshire. So they do have somebody that is looking at that. I don't know the results of if they have any contaminated materials or if it's going to be as they're digging, if they find stuff, because I know the site has been revamped a few times. So I'm sure they'll find something down there and old tanks potentially. So it is on their radar and it will be handled accordingly and correctly.
Any public input? All right, we'll close public discussion, deliberate amongst the board. These are the ones that we really don't have any criteria for these, so it's just that old, they found an old, I guess, law in the books where anytime material gets moved into town, they got to get a special permit. So there's no specific criteria that we grade this against.
And right now, they're not sure they have to remove any material, but if they do, they may have to move some for their coffer ponds or whatever.
Areas that we're raising, I'm anticipating we're going to go over for the parking areas and such. For a storm type system, there's going to be some material that will be hauled off. So.
Yeah, this has always struck me as a relic of when we didn't want people scraping 3 feet of topsoil off of their farms and selling it.
Or just disposing of maybe contaminated material somewhere else in town that it's disposed of properly. I think that was a good question.
Yeah, I don't, do we have any purview or like, I mean, we can't tell them where they take the material. We can
Well,
only
they're
tell
going to
them
have a company there most likely.
whether they can
Yeah.
take it
An
off
EPA or,
out of town or not.
state, yeah.
Okay. I'm good.
All right. Any motions?
I make a motion to approve ZBA number 23-07.
All right, motion's been made to approve case 23-07. Any seconds?
I second it.
Made and seconded. Any further discussion? Those in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The ayes have it.
You good to go?
Thank you.
3-07 passes.
Good to
Thank
see
you.
you again.
Alrighty, case 23-09, Haven Grove, same another excavation permit.
Good
For
good
232
afternoon.
Laconia.
I'm here for basically the same reason. We already have started in there before we even were aware that there was this permit that was required. So we've been pulling stumps and taking them off the site. Associated with them is some leveling and some loam. We've also brought in fill so we could level the site. So we're just saying that we're going to be hauling trucks in and out of there. So I don't want to be accused of not getting this permit, which I'm not really sure of the criteria of what we can and cannot do, but I'm here in front of you saying that I believe I need this permit now.
Go ahead.
I was just wondering, like, it says here, and I don't know where Haven Grove exactly is, sir.
Sure. So if you right across from Valvoline, we have 50 acres right there.
Okay,
You'll see it. We've started the logging operation in there.
okay,
We'll be coming forward with some sort of development in the future,
okay.
but there's a lot of activity in there right now. There's a lot of buildings that are being raised. It was a pretty messy property. There's like 10 buildings on it, mostly old and full of junk. Give you an idea of it, it was on American Pickers. There was that much stuff around the place. So really, it's a huge cleanup process.
Now, where is that soil going to?
Right now, we have loam that we brought up to Riddens, and we have just started this operation. If you go on site, you'll see that there is a large pile of loam there now.
So you're going to be removing loam off the property?
Where the log yard was, you have to scrape the loam up. There was a big pile of it. We only have so much space right now, so some was removed, and there has been some gravel brought in. And even today, we brought another load in that we have to bring in for stone. But I mean, I don't really think that this falls underneath bringing material in as much as it does as removing it. And I understand that we don't want to strip fields and remove all the loam from the town, but we don't have any fields there, so we really shouldn't be worried about that at this point.
I guess my only, I don't know how to word this, but like, so we're going to allow it. It's tied to the property. He doesn't know what he's doing with the property yet. Kind of inclined, like, can we pass this with I don't know if time limit's the right word, but like, all right, you can log it and you got to take the material you got to, but before it turns into this development, bring it back.
We have to come back in front of it. It's just in engineering now, so we have nothing to bring in at this time. But within 2 or 3 months, we will have something before you.
Okay.
You'll get another look at it. But again, like I said, you'll see trucks going in and out of there, and we had them going in and out of there today. So we want to make sure that we're not doing anything that or you're not aware of it.
So this is new to us too. So we're still kind of figuring out, like, Leanne, if we approve this, we're not, I mean, this is tied to the piece of property. So
yeah, you're just approving that it's.
but we're approving it not necessarily for the scope of the project they have planned, I guess, like.
Right, just he's logging and, yeah.
Yeah, we're doing some filling and some removal, but we'll come back in front of you again, no problem for these. I mean,
I don't know if I'm overly concerned. I just, this is new to me.
I think what you pose a good thought. You know, it's the same idea that you're moving material as it develops, but the same idea is if it's all like scraping of the topsoil and then moving it out of town, that's what this whole ordinance was to protect. But I don't see it here.
So Matt, were you thinking about putting a time frame or?
I don't even know that a time frame is the right thing. Just like, I totally understand what he's doing right now and it makes sense. Just like not as a carte blanche, just go removing whatever you want when we don't know what it is.
Right.
Right. Just so you know, if you remove over 100,000, the state gets involved with it and need special, specific performance and special things for that. So we
100,000 cubic feet or cubic yards?
Cubic yards.
I kind of.
So we're not going to be going
I don't know
anywhere
how
near
big
that.
that is. Is that this room? I don't know.
Oh, yeah, it is.
I don't know. I don't know how to put what I'm trying to say into words. It just, like I said, maybe I'm being.
We're being cautious, but
Well, I think you just don't want to mine it, right?
right.
Yeah. You know,
It's not for sale, so.
No.
Like he said, he can only remove up to 100 yards before the state's going to get involved. Cubic yards.
Wait, 100 cubic
100,
yards? No.
100,000.
1,000.
1,000.
Yeah, yeah.
1,000
I'm
cubic
like,
yards.
100 cubic yards is
Yeah.
nothing.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't even know how to put my thoughts into a concise like I said, and maybe I'm being overly concerned here. No, I agree. Just if it all of a sudden was going to become a development and hauling a bunch of soil out, but at the same time, every time
Then
you
you would
develop
have to
something, you
come.
need to bring soil
Yeah,
back in.
yeah, you'd have to come.
That was my other question. Sorry.
Well, you're kind of in a situation, you either have to approve this or not, one or the other.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we don't have a choice. I don't think there are any conditions you can put on quantity. John, how are you measuring quantities hauled out so that anyone would ever know if there was 100,000 taken?
Right. You can do it by the truckload. I have a 6-wheeler. It hauls 8 yards at a time. I would have to be doing it for the next millennium. So we can measure. That's how I measure what I'm moving around, is by my dump truck size.
I wasn't even thinking in like a volume sense. I was more thinking in like a stage of his development sense. But like I said, I'm probably being a little. I'm just unfamiliar with this permitting of this. I'm just trying to navigate this. It's new to us. Seems kind of bureaucratic to begin with, but all right. Any public comment? You guys are all set?
Yep.
Any motions?
I'll make a motion to accept ZB 23-09
All right. Motion's been made.
to approve.
I second it.
Made and seconded to approve 23-09. Any further discussion? Those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Ayes have it. You were abstaining from your vote?
Yeah.
Okay. And Article 23-09 passes. Thank you.
Yep, absolutely.
All right. Case 23-08. Mr. Pesa? Am I saying that right?
Which one should we start first, the variance or the special exception?
It's in here as the variance, starting with the variance. So we may as well go that way. Follow the way it's written.
Do you want me to read through my application?
Yes, you can read it into the record.
Okay, all right.
Thank you. Sounds good. Sure. Just a general overview of what you got going on, and then you can read it in.
So I have a vacant lot. It's 491 West Main Street. It used to be the abandoned house, but then it got tore down. Whatever. Anyways, so we're basically just looking to put a office, like a used car lot, but we're not gonna have any water and sewer there. So that's kind of what the variance is for. Okay. So do I have to read granting the variance would not be contrary? Yeah. Okay.
Please. It's a pain, but
Granting the variance would not be contrary to public interest because it is commercially zoned lot. Wanting to put it to use as a car dealership would not be contrary to public interest because the fact there is a lot similar without water and sewer and as a car lot as well. Will not be using water and sewer, therefore there's nothing to contaminate. Number 2, if the variance were granted, the spirit of the ordinance would be observed because I will not be using a sewer system anywhere on the property, therefore I will not be contaminating anything. And then number 3, granting the variance would do substantial justice because eCars LLC, it's a dealership like 30 seconds down the street from where we are. Has no running water or sewer, and their business is just a few buildings down. And again, no sewer on the property will not affect public because we're not contaminating anything. Number 4, if the variance were granted, the values of the surrounding properties would not be diminished because the lot is currently vacant. We will be adding value to 491 West Main Street by putting an office and a business. In no way will adding a business on the property affect surrounding property values. Also, all properties past the high school have their own septic. We will not be using a septic system or a sewage system of any kind, and no running water. Number 5, unnecessary hardship. A, owing to a special condition of the property that distinguish it from other properties in the area, denial of the variance would result in an unnecessary hardship because, and then I, no fair and substantial relationship exists between the general public proposes of the ordinance provision and the specific application of that provision to the property because we will not be affecting the public. We will not be contaminating anything. We will not be having a sewer system or running water. There's nothing for us to contaminate. And I'll just say double I. The proposed use is a reasonable one because it is commercially zoned. There's a similar property down the street, the car lot. Yeah, I'm just repeating myself now, but they don't have running water or sewers as well. Just asking to be allowed to do the same thing. And then B, explain how if the criteria subparagraph A are not established, an unnecessary hardship will be deemed to exist, and if and only if, owing to special conditions of the property that distinguish it from other properties in the area, the property cannot be reasonably used in the strict conformance with the ordinance, and a variance is therefore necessary to enable a reasonable use of it. And again, the same property down the street. I was just asking to do the same thing. And also, I have I got the DOT permit to use the same driveway. I already talked to the DOT with that, so yeah.
Is there something preventing you from bringing water and putting in a septic system on the property?
Nothing really other than I just don't want water and sewer.
Is it there on that side of the road?
No, it's not.
Well, I mean, as far as like, is this lot it's not big enough to put a septic system in?
A septic system or connect to the sewer system?
There's no sewer there.
No sewer.
There's no sewer system there.
Sewer system there?
No, I think it crosses a river.
It stops at the high school.
There is water, I believe. Did they have to close off the tap when you tore down the house?
It's already closed off, yeah.
But there is water there.
Yeah.
There's a hydrant right in front.
Yeah.
My question is, I'm looking at the two of these. And I see 491 written on something, and I see 492 written on the other one.
That's
Can you clarify which property is it?
491. That's just a mistake. I don't know how that happened.
This one says 492.
It's the lot, kind of semi in front of the high school. Used to have a house on it.
I know I've been over there. I took a look at it.
It's a 2. I think it's a 1.
It looks like a 1 to me.
That's a
It looks
1.
like just a 1 that got the.
He has a
He just
curl on it.
didn't quite pick his pen up. Was he crossed the 1? So there's nothing about you could put a septic system on this.
If
piece
I
of property.
wanted to, yeah. Yeah, there was
But
for
we
the
don't know.
house, yeah.
There's an existing septic system. You just haven't had it.
It hasn't been, I mean, I haven't used it. I don't know how long it hasn't been used, so.
So during the duration of running this business, you would have no intention now or ever of washing any vehicles on the property?
No.
And no bathroom facilities on the property?
No. I have another location down the street that my main business, and I have a bathroom there. So if somebody needs to use the bathroom, they can just go down the street to my other business.
Are you renting at the other business or do you own there?
No, well,
In other words, I'm asking, do you think sometime you might move everything up to the new location?
yeah, I own it.
I guess my problem is you keep referencing e-car, And then the next person to come after you is going to reference e-car, you, and you're setting and asking for almost like a precedence on this, that any business can move in, put a trailer on it, and not hook up to water or sewer. And so I have a little problem with you keep pushing the e-car and the idea that this is because they got it, which is a completely different board.
Well,
You should get it.
Yeah, I'm
It
just
doesn't
gonna.
work that way.
No, I know. I'm gonna be upfront with you. The language you guys use on the paperwork, I'm not trying to be disrespectful in any way. I just kind of have a hard time understanding it, so I kind of just wrote down what kind of just came to my head. So
what you'd have to make a case for here is that there was a reason that your property couldn't meet what the law of the town asks for. So the law of the town wants you to have water and septic on your business, and you'd have to showcase why that particular piece of property, there was something about it that made it so you couldn't meet that standard.
okay.
That's what this is asking for here. Is like, what is it about your piece of property that, you know, it's too small, you can't fit a septic in and meet the setbacks? I don't know what it would be. I'm not saying that it exists. Just that's what this piece of paper is asking.
Okay. I mean, I don't really have an answer for you on that. So
No, I
Yeah.
understand.
As far as referencing another dealership or e-car, I don't know how long they've been there. Maybe they were put in before some of the zoning regulations went in concerning sewer and water, and so they may be grandfathered. I don't know the history behind how long they've been there.
Yeah, it's tough knowing I mean, who knows what the case with that lot was.
Right.
I understand why the reference is made. I can understand the comparison. But for the case of this, it would have to be your specific property, what it was about that made it not meet the building codes in the zoning law. Yeah.
No, you said it perfectly. The whole case that you're trying to present is why you should not have to do it, and basing it upon another business.
Or if the property, you couldn't do it on the property. You couldn't put a septic or you couldn't get water, then there might be a hardship that way that you couldn't do it and you would be asking a variance or a special exception to do it. But you can put water on that property and you could put a septic system on that property.
With my
assume.
understanding, I don't, yeah.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
I do not.
No? Any public input? Any,
So the first one that we're discussing, the variance, is to have a,
we usually make the motion in the positive and then vote according to that.
and the first one is just for the construction office
Just taking
being
the
a
variance
permanent
from this.
structure. That's the first one we're voting on.
The variance from sewer and water, or septic and water, I should say.
You don't have to give a reason why.
Yeah. Well, if you guys want, why don't you go through the 5 like we normally do?
Yeah, that would probably be smart. In that way, it would happen.
Yep. Alrighty. So number 1, granting the variance would not be contrary to the public interest. I don't see a case here why this particular piece of property can't be made to meet the intent of this zoning law. I don't know if anyone else can.
I would agree.
I agree.
Number 2, if the variance were granted, the spirit of the ordinance would be observed. Again, I don't see a case here that stays consistent with the spirit of the ordinance. Number 3, granting the variance would do substantial justice. There's not a case for why moving away from what the zoning requires would do justice to the individual. There's not anything special here about the property that keeps it from being adhered to it.
I agree.
Number 4, if the variance are granted, the values of the surrounding property would not be diminished. There's no argument in favor here or against.
No.
There's no proof that any property values will be changed. Number 5, unnecessary hardship owing to a special condition of the property that distinguishes it from other properties in the area. Denial of the variance would result in an unnecessary hardship. 1, no fair and substantial relationship exists between the general public purpose of the ordinance provision and the specific application of that provision to the property. Cool. Again, I don't see anything.
I don't see a hardship here at all.
That makes the property not be able to adhere to the zoning.
Right.
And 2, the proposed use is a reasonable one. Again, Nothing here that says you can't put water or septic system on it. Any
Okay.
motions?
I make a motion to approve ZB case number 23-08.
Motion's been made.
I'll second the motion to
Made
approve.
And seconded. Any further discussion? I think it's fairly straightforward that we don't have a case right here in order to approve this variance, in my eyes. I don't know if anyone feels any differently. Alrighty, those in favor of approving ZB 23-08? Those opposed to ZB 23-08? Aye. The case does not pass. The variance is not approved. Based on not meeting any of our presented criteria.
None, hardship, etc.
All five. Thank you for coming in.
Yeah, thank you.
Although,
No,
actually, wait a second.
No,
Nope,
special
nope, nope.
exception now.
You get the special exception still. Okay, yeah, that's fine.
Unless you want to put a trailer in. I said, unless you still want to use a storage trailer.
That was 8. We were kind of out of order here, right? And we did 9 and then 8.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then,
He was, yes. Milton.
now to 10, right? Milton Smith, ZB 23-10. Oh, McGregor Smith.
And I believe we have a proxy. Yep.
Is Craig Bailey here? Okay.
Oh.
So would you like to wait? No.
So you're going to present your case, correct?
His brother's case.
Or your brother's case?
So are we waiting for Craig to make the presentation, or are you the good one going to do it on their behalf?
Sorry.
Yeah, you got to come on.
He has to read the.
Copy of the application.
It's a special exception, so it doesn't have the 5 criteria.
Oh, okay.
This is going to be 630 up.
Okay.
So as I said, it's an extension of what we do now. We're in the movie business. And we're taking a space next door and we're going to develop an arcade and axe throwing and birthday parties in a little bar area. And that's what it's all about. So I wasn't quite sure why we had to do this because it seems like, it's in the same building. And I didn't read this, so I don't know for sure. But
Okay, I'm assuming it's because it's a different. Oh.
Yeah.
I believe a little the animal. I think it's because you had to get it for Smitty's itself, so I'm assuming as you expand that use, it carries over.
that sounds good. I'll go with that.
Well, we'll make sure I could be wrong.
Am I on? Yeah.
Yes.
So yeah, it's a special exception for indoor entertainment is within the zoning ordinance. Says any indoor it needs a special exception. This is considered indoor entertainment. So it's different criteria. You're not really a variance. It's allowed by special exception, meaning they just want you to come before the board and present what you're doing. Okay. I have one question though, and I don't know. Do you know if there's gonna be billiards in there?
I don't believe so.
Okay, thank you. That's all.
Any questions for him?
Wait, what are you putting in here again, sir?
Arcade and axe throwing lanes and a bar area. And we're going to convert one of the theaters now to some birthday party rooms, which we sorely need. And and just make a nice family entertainment center.
Now, is this expansion going to take over that whole business that is adjacent? The whole business there is gone?
Mr. G's,
Yeah,
yes,
Mr. Jesus
is leaving.
okay.
So it's taking that whole space.
Yes, 10,000 square feet.
What's been?
My mother-in-law, my mother loved Mr. G. She's not going to be happy.
Oh,
You're going to be connected between Smitty's movie theater indoors, up a
Yes.
passageway or
Yep.
whatever, so you can go and throw some axes and go watch a movie if you want.
right, absolutely.
It's a good idea.
And drink.
I think it's
Yeah.
going to bring traffic to a plaza that needs traffic.
Yes.
I think it's a good idea.
Well, one thing
Personally.
Tilton lacks is things to do in Tilton.
Yep.
Milton and I also own the plaza too, so
Oh, sure. So absolutely. You're definitely thinking of increasing traffic.
Yeah.
Well, it is the rage right now, throwing axes and going on dates.
And drinking, drinking,
Drinking,
throwing axes,
throwing
and going
axes
on
and going
dates.
on dates.
every lane has an expert to tell you how to do it.
I know. No,
Yeah,
I'm not making
yeah,
fun. It's actually
yeah.
a rage. It's
Yeah,
actually really
it is.
huge. The kids talk about it.
And this isn't going to be BYOB axe throwing.
No, this is.
Any other questions? No? There's no criteria to
Well, there is-
What?
Well, there is for special exception criteria, and they did answer some questions. If you want me to read them into the record, I can do that.
Yes, sure.
Okay.
absolutely.
Unless you have it. Do you have the criteria?
Oh, I don't.
The following is an appropriate location for the proposed use. And the response is the proposed location for the arcade and axe throwing and bar is located within a commercial unit occupied by Mr. G's within the Town Line Plaza. The inside floor space includes 10,000 square feet.
Do you have something we don't?
Yeah, because I don't have that.
He submitted this.
Oh, okay.
after.
Oh, okay.
I can get you copies if you
Nope,
want.
that's
or I
okay. I
can
just
read-
thought I was. Sorry, keep going.
All right. No factual evidence suggests that adjacent property values within the district may be reduced due to the proposed use for an indoor commercial recreation amusement facility, which again is an allowed use with the approval by special exception. There is no valid objection from the abutters based on demonstrable fact. There is no nuisance or hazard involved. Patrons shall sign waivers to participate in axe throwing. Adequate and appropriate facility will be provided for the proper operation of the proposed use. The facility shall use the existing kitchen and provide food service, same as Smitty's Cinema. Code calculation by JKR Architects of Philadelphia. The facility has provided 5 required water closets for both men and women, and 2 lavatories for men and 4 lavatories for women, as well as a single-family restroom and single-service sink.
A lot of plumbing.
The existing commercial structure is currently serviced by both municipal sewer and water. There is currently no other business within the town of Tilton operating an axe throwing and bar indoor commercial recreation amusement facility. There's currently Climax Throwing located in Belmont. The proposal is located within an established commercial building, which was originally approved by the planning board on October 9th, 1979, and the corresponding site plan has been recorded on the Belknap Registry of Deeds. Town Line Plaza currently has parking lot adjacent to the commercial units and stores. Currently, there is no proposal to modify or change the current exterior features of the building or structure. The building is currently in place. Timing of indoor renovations are unknown at this time. Operations of the proposed use is within reasonable use within the district and shall not contribute toward unreasonable noise, fume, odor, or vibration that would not be in conjunction of any other use also allowed as permitted use. And that was from Mr. Bailey. I can get you copies if you want.
No, that's fine.
Now, does Smitty's currently serve alcohol? Do they have a bar in there? They do.
We don't have a bar in there.
They
Okay.
serve-
We serve alcohol.
Okay. But it's going to be a bar in the axe throwing.
Yes,
Will there be food served as well?
yes. A lot of it, I hope.
Yeah, and doesn't New Hampshire law require
Yeah,
you
you
Yes.
have to.
sell food
Yes.
if you serve alcohol?
We don't have boozers.
Yeah, eaters and drinkers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you have to have food.
Any public input? We'll close the public discussion, deliberate amongst ourselves. I don't see any hang-ups to this here.
Don't see anything?
No, I don't see any hangups.
Fairly straightforward.
Something entertainment.
Any motions?
Yes,
Yep, okay.
I'll move to approve.
We have a motion to approve case ZB 23-10,
I'll second it.
made and seconded. Any further discussion? Those in favor of 23-10, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it. It passes. Thank you for coming in.
Invite you guys to the first tax roll.
Perfect.
You say that now. Yeah. Have a good night, sir.
Thank you.
All righty. Case 23-11, Robert and Allison Clark. I lost my paperwork.
Oh, you take it off.
Oh, I have.
I'm just sure.
Do you have one?
Okay, well, I'll just refer everything to you.
I had that lot map. Oh, I think you did.
It was just like hanging out and I was cleaning house.
Yeah.
I do, yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Robert Clark. I own 5 C Street in Tilton up the road here. I have just recently purchased a lot, the empty lot right next door. I'm asking for a variance so I can rebuild a similar home that was there previously before a fire. So I want to, any questions? I have my architect and planner here, so I think he would be more suited unless I can help you, but if there's any questions, he's the man, I guess.
Okay.
You gotta read the.
Yeah. Do you want either have
I
him
can-
do it, or do you want just
I
want to
can-
read the? You can do it. Okay.
I can
Just
do
need
it.
to read the
I can do it.
application.
So, hi, good evening, members of the board. My name is Pedro Avila. I am the representative for Mr. and Mrs. Clark. We are requesting a variance on, for Article 7, Appendix 6, Table of Dimensional Values, where we are located in an RC zone where you are required to have a 1 acre piece of land, and your setbacks are front, rear 30 feet, and a side setback of 20 feet. This lot, it precede the actual zoning ordinance. It was there before the zoning was enacted and enforceable. The lot is actually an undersized lot, and we're requesting a variance to be allowed so that we are allowed to build with a 5-foot setback from the property line due to the nature of the lot. Then the things that prohibit us from anything other, the bylaws of the neighborhood association prevent from any lot within the community to be more than a single family dwelling unit. That's one. Second, also, we will be not affecting the values of the adjacent properties in the area. All the properties in there, I have a couple of exhibits that I can, if you allow me to approach the table, I can present to you.
Do you want to just finish reading the five criteria from his application, and then we can do all that just for the sake of?
Most definitely. All digital work now. So we are observing the spirit of the ordinance because we're building we're taking into consideration all the safetiness that are awarded within the building code, and we're going to be building this prescriptively based on the building code, which will allow for a 5-foot setback. Also, granting the ordinance will do substantial justice because the bylaws of this community specifically have each lot assigned a cost value to financially pay to the association. By not having that lot, that value will have to be divided among all the neighbor owners in the area, and a couple of owners have expressed their concern that by adding an expense to them, it will be hard for them. So we'll be creating a financial hardship and they will be supporting us 100% to have a unit in that specific lot. If the variance are granted, we already discussed that. The unnecessary hardship is the homeowners association fees assessed. I submitted by laws when I submitted the application. Last page show in detail how much each unit actually gets to pay to the homeowners association for the community. It's on a private road as well. It's not municipality maintained. The house, however, is on city sewer, and it's going to be on a well, drill well. I believe I have presented the 5-point there. And with that, like I said, I wanted to approach the board to show an aerial view of why we are not placing the values of the houses. Right now, all the houses are in the same proximity.
No, what you have like with, it looks like a marker, is that where you're talking about placing the house?
That's exactly where we're placing the house, yes. It's not to scale.
Does the foundation of the old house still exist?
No, it does not. It has been leveled. Right now, the lot is leveled. Yeah.
And I see in your application that the new house supposedly is smaller footprint than the old house?
Indeed, it is. As a matter of fact, the old house is it was within touching distance from the other neighbors, and that's not going to be now the case.
How about height?
Height, we will maintain the ordinance. We are not going to be anywhere above the height of the ordinance. We're assuming, based on roof pitch up to the ridge, about 26 feet from grade.
Is it taller than what was there previously?
No.
Leanne, apologize if I'm missing this. Is this a buildable lot as it sits?
Yeah, there was a house on it before, so it's a grandfathered buildable lot. But again, with destroyed by fire, you have 1 year to rebuild. So that obviously has expired as far as the 1 year rebuild.
Okay.
So now they're just looking at if they want to build on that lot, it's a setback issue.
Right. Okay. So it's a buildable lot. It's a setback issue only. Right. Okay. And so you're looking for, just because we usually have this clarification, they actually need 15-foot variance, correct? Or sorry,
correct.
25-foot.
On the sides, they need 15, and in the front,
in the rear,
30. They need 25.
25 in the rear. Yep.
Now, you're talking about 5 feet from your property line, and I'm looking at this corner right here, and this little thing. From the corner of that house to the next closest house, what are we talking for a distance?
As a matter of fact, the closest house encroached into the property line, and when I plotted that, I didn't have the ordinance on hand. It was just a reflect of design, and then I got the ordinance, and that's when I plotted the line. But we are planning to maintain that 5 feet from the property line.
And so my question being, like, how close to the property line is another house to it? At that closest point of 5 feet away, which you're trying to come into, you have your property line. How close is the next house?
The house that is in there are three abutters in there. Yeah. So the house that is in the northeast, if you're facing the house northeast corner of the property, is actually encroaching into the setback, into the property line. I'm sorry, but we are okay with that. The owners are okay with that. The house next door is actually sitting about 3 feet away from the property line, Those are very small lots, all of them. So we will be like an 8-foot distance to
8
the,
feet between houses.
yes, yes.
I think that this house sticking out in here comes into this
The little jog.
that little jog there.
Yes, it does. Oh, that guy's like in there.
Yeah.
Dash 29.
Yeah,
That's
he's
what we're talking about.
like a,
2-29.
Yes.
I think that if you look at, I don't know if you have this one, Brian.
yeah, someone's
Yeah,
like
I got, yeah.
on the
Into this little
line.
flat spot. That's where that
Yes.
other.
And I need to make a correction, actually. We will be actually, the new house is gonna be actually higher than the
So
previous
it's,
one.
it's gonna be like a 2-story house now. Before, maybe it was a 1-story.
No,
or-
it was a 2-story. We're gonna have 2-story, and then we're gonna have additional living space above.
Is there any views there?
Lakewood, Lakewood
No.
is
Okay.
this
Are you
way.
you're not gonna be taking any views away from your
There
neighbors?
has
or-
never been views. Most of the abutting houses are single-family ranches, and there is only the rear property that is actually encroaching into the property line. They're all friends there. They just erected a third level to their unit after the other house was fired down.
B Street, so the lake's this way.
So they could block view of this guy.
Yes, in theory.
Now, the house on number 6 B Street, how, is that a ranch?
So I believe you are referring to lot 29.
30. U02-30.
Yeah, that's the greenhouse. Is a ranch house. It's a ranch. That one.
Now, does that house have a view of the lake?
No, there is another property across the street on C Street.
Oh, geez, yeah, all right.
The other house that was there prior, the one we're trying to.
No, I understand. What I was thinking was it was closer to the edge of the lake, and by
No.
building a 2.5-story
Yeah.
building, right?
Yeah.
No.
That you would be actually diminishing someone's value.
Okay.
Because that would be true.
Yes.
It's so far away, there's no view.
Yes.
It's a moot point.
Instead of looking at a vacant lot, now they're gonna look at a house.
Yeah, I'm not against this. I was just thinking,
Yeah.
We get lots of.
maybe that guy behind would
Yeah.
not be so happy right now. But yeah, it doesn't matter.
We didn't get any letters from the butters or anything.
Do we have a butter?
He's the guy. I have a letter from one of the neighbors. It should be true. Yes, true. It should be.
I don't know. I was gonna ask in a minute. But
And if you allow me
Yeah,
to bring it into record. So this is Darren Entrenken. Sorry if I didn't pronounce correctly his last name. And the email reads as follows. Hello, Bob and Allison. I hope all is well. I'm reaching out as I have received a letter from the town of Tilton zoning board notifying me of a zoning board meeting on April 18th about the request for a variance on setbacks for the new home. Because of working schedule challenges, I will not be able to attend to that meeting in person. As a result, I am reaching out via this letter to provide some feedback that can be shared with the board during this meeting if needed. To members of the board, I have been a neighbor of the Clark's family for 15 plus years, and I'm happy to hear they are looking to build a new home on the vacant lot next to me, 3C Street. The Clark family have always maintained great relationships and contribute regularly to our community association. They have earned trust and respect of the community, and I am glad to have them as my direct abutting neighbors. There was a house on this lot in the past, and I am in full support of the Clarks building a new home on this lot and do not have any concern with the requested setbacks. Additionally, if a new house is not permitted, this will negatively impact the association financially, as the association dues are calculated based on a 31-unit budget. As a contributing member of the association and member of the board of directors, I look forward to the contribution of this new home, that this new home will provide to the financial stability of our community. Shortly put, I am in support of the Clark building a new home on 3C Street and do not have any reservation about the plans of the new house. Please feel free to reach out should there be any question. Kindest regards, Darren Entrinkin, 1C Street. Also, I have a letter from the owners at 9C Street, which reads as follows. On behalf of my father, Weston Sarty, of 9C Street, Tilton, he has no problem with the proposed project. The Clarks have always been good neighbors and will not do anything that will adversely affect the neighborhood. Gail McKinnon, daughter of Weston Sarty, from 9C Street.
Thank you. Do we happen to know, does it meet the coverage? Is it within the limit, I can't think of the word, I apologize. Is their proposed footprint?
I believe the coverage is 60%, and I actually question how was coverage measured. Based on the square footage of heated space, it will actually, we cannot state that it will cover. Now, if we make the measurement based on the lot availability for building, at that point, yes, because we're keeping the house to a very minimal footprint of 22 by 32.
Right, so the footprint doesn't cover the, I can't remember, I think he's corrected at 60%. But it looks like she's gonna do the math out.
Oh yeah, because she just kind of took that.
Yeah.
Oh, here it is.
Yeah, impervious surfaces on it.
22 by 32, and then where there's a little jog.
Well, of course, it's not gonna be easy because it's not a nice square lot. You're a math teacher.
600. Or
60% is the number, right?
yeah, because it's so joggy. Like this. I don't know what this surface is. You know what I'm saying? You would break it into little triangles.
Yes, yeah. And if this falls under it, dude.
It's at 60.
It's right at 60?
So we, based on the 60%, the lot being of 0.04 acres, that's equal to 1,742 square feet. 60% of that is 1,045.44 square feet. And based on the footprint coverage, we're keeping the house to a 740 square feet.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, you're just like
Just under.
Okay. Yeah.
maybe.
I don't have any more questions, Steve.
I do not.
Any more questions for him? Brian?
No, I'm all set.
Any public input?
Yeah, I'm here for, I guess, two different versions.
If you just
State your
put your
name
name
and
into the record there.
My name is John Hanson. I reside at 7C Street, neighbor of Allison and Bob Clark. I'm also the vice president of the board of directors for our association. So I'm here again to affirm everything that the two letters that you received from other abutters, that the value of the property that Allison and Bob certainly want to be put in far exceeds what it is now as a vacant lot. They do a great job. They are valued members. We've been neighbors for over 20 years. And so as the board and as a neighbor, we're here to affirm that everything that they are proposing that we certainly agree with and look forward to. So.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other public comment? Guessing not. All right, we'll close it and deliberate.
I guess
We get a lot of these little,
especially in that area.
right up in that town.
Oh, it's crazy up there.
They're not asking to do anything that isn't already there, precedence there.
No,
All
and
the other-
isn't also consistent with what existed.
It's consistent, what they want to do is consistent with the neighborhood, let's say.
I'm just gonna say, always what's big for me is how does what's proposed fit in the neighborhood
Correct.
where it's asking to be done, and it's consistent with that tight packed, older lakefront community.
Yeah, I mean,
I'll just add that I did go over and see the property, and as a matter of fact, I spoke with Allison, and she helped to show me the lot and explain the building to me, and I'm comfortable with it.
Opposed?
Yeah.
You guys want to go through the 5?
Yep.
Sounds good. All right, number 1, granting the variance would not be contrary to the public interest. Again, I'm on board with this. Just feel free to speak up on. I don't need to be the only one talking. It fits the neighborhood. It fits what's going on there. There's no objections from any of the abutters.
I agree.
Yep. If the variance are granted, the spirit of the ordinance would be observed. Again, the spirit of the ordinance in that neighborhood is it's a tight-knit neighborhood. I don't think there's a single house that exists down in there that meets the setbacks. They're keeping it a smaller footprint than the building that was there.
Okay. Yep.
Granting the variance would do substantial justice. Again, there's justice to the individual applying for it because they can develop their unused lot. I think there's justice to the community that lives in there because it fits the community that it's falling into.
Yep. Agree.
If the variance were granted, the values of the surrounding property would not be diminished. There's no real evidence that it would diminish any properties. I think your point about lost lakefronts is a good one, but it's set several streets off of the lake. Owing to an unnecessary hardship, owing to a special condition of the property that distinguishes it from other properties in the area, denial of this variance would result in unnecessary hardship. Well, they wouldn't be able to use their lot that's considered a buildable lot by our town in an area that is already tightly packed. No fair and substantial relationship exists between the general public purpose of the ordinance provision and the specific application of that provision to the property. Again, this ties right back to the neighborhood for me. This is what the character of that neighborhood is, and it's consistent with it. And the proposed use is a reasonable one. Yes, putting another single-family home.
I would agree.
In this
I like that it's a single family.
Yep.
Any motions?
Sure. I'll move to accept.
All righty. Chuck makes a motion to approve case 23-11. Any seconds?
I'll second that.
Made in second. Any further discussion? Those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And the ayes have it. It passes. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you.
We've got to do minutes. From
February 21st.
February 21st.
It's right here now.
Oh, there we go. All righty. Any motions to accept the minutes from February 21st of 2023?
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes from February 21, 23.
Made by Brian. Any seconds?
I'll second it.
Those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The minutes are accepted. I think that's it. Chuck, thank you for joining us. We're excited to have a full board.
Yeah.
Pleasure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just one thing, just
Oh, yeah.
just one thing before you close. So everyone has their new zoning ordinance.
Yes, ma'am.
I know, and a new planning book every year.
Yes.
And then just some information in there. Just I reprinted the rules and procedures and a little bit of information on criteria. Always good to review. And that's all I have.
Deal. Anyone have anything else?
I do not.
No? Motion to adjourn?
I'll second that.
Made and seconded. Those in favor of adjourning the meeting?
Aye.
Aye. The ayes have it. Meeting is adjourned. Don't forget to stop recording.